Martin Luther King Martin Luther King Jr., original name Michael King Jr., born January 15, 1929, Atlanta, Georgia, US. Died April 4, 1968, Memphis, Tennessee. Baptist minister and social activist who led the civil rights movement in the United States from the mid 1950s until his death by assassination in 1968. His leadership was fundamental to that movement's success in ending the legal segregation of of African Americans in the South and other parts of the United States. Kane rose to national prominence as he head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which promoted nonviolent tactics such as the massive March on Washington 1963. To achieve civil rights, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Kane, Kane, Kane came from Kane came from a comfortable middle class family steeped in the tradition of the Southern Black ministry. Both his father and maternal grandfather were Baptist preachers. His parents were college educated, and Kane's father has succeeded his father-in-law as a pastor of the prestigious Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. The family lived on Auburn Avenue, otherwise now has Sweet Auburn, the bustling Blackwall Street, home to some of the country's largest and most prosperous black business and black churches in the years before the civil rights movement. John Martin received a solid education and grew up in loving extended family. The this secure this secure upbringing, however, did did not prevent Kane from experiencing the prejudice then common in the South. He's never forgot the time when, at about age 6, one of his white playmates announced that his parents would no longer allow him to play with Kane because the children were now attending segregated schools. The rest to Kane in these early years was his maternal grandmother, whose death in 1941 left him shaken and unstable, upset because he had learned of her fatal heart attack while attending a parade without his parents' permission. The 12-year-old Kane attempted suicide by jumping from second-story window. In 1944, at age 15, King entered Morehouse College in Atlanta under a special wartime program intended to boost enrollment by admitting promising high school students like Kane before beginning college. Howard Kane spent the summer on a tobacco farm in Connecticut. It was his first extended stay away from home and his first substantial experience of race relation outside the segregated thought. He was shocked by how peaceful the races mixes in the North, Negroes and with go the same church. He noted in a letter to his parents, I never I never that a person of my race could eat anywhere. This summer experience in the North only deepened Kane's growing hatred of racial segregation. At Morehouse, Kane favored studies in medicine and law, but these were eclipsed in his senior year by a decision to enter the ministry. Had his father had argued, Kane's mentor at Morehouse was the college president Benjamin Mays, a social gospel activist whose rich oratory and progressive ideas have left an indelible imprint on Kane's father. Committed to fighting racial inequality, Mays accused the African American community of complacency in the face of oppression, and he prodded the Black Church into social action by criticizing its emphasis on the hereafter interest of the here and now. It was a call to service that was not lost on the teenage Kane. King. He graduated from Morehouse in 1948. Kane spent the next 3 years at Crowther Theological Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania, where he became acquainted with Mohandas Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence, as well as with the thought of contemporary Protestant theologians. He earned a Bachelor of Divinity degree in 1951. Renowned for his oratorical skills, Kane was elected president of Crowther student body, which was composed almost exclusively of white students. As a professor at Crowther wrote in a letter of recommendation for Kane, the fact that with our student body largely thwarted in constitution, a colored man should be elected to and be popular. Such a position is in itself no mean recommendation from Crowther. King went to Boston University, where, in seeking a firm foundation for his own theological and ethical inclinations, he studied men's relationships to God and received a doctorate 1955 for a dissertation titled A Comparison of the Conception of Good in the Thinking of Paul Tillich and Henry Nelson Wayman. The Montgomery bus boycott. While in Boston, King met Coretta Scott, a native Alabamian who was studying at the New England Conservatory of Music. They were married in 1953 and had four children. Kane have been pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, slightly more than a year when the city's small group of civil rights advocates decided to contest racial segregation on that city's public bus system following the incident on December 1, 1955, in which Rosa Parks, an African American woman, had refused to surrender her bus seat to a white passenger and as a consequence was arrested for violation the city's segregation law. Activities formed the Montgomery Improvement Association to boycott the transit system and choose kind of their leader. He had the advantage of behind a young, well-trained man who was too new in town to have made enemies. He was generally respected, and it was thought that his family connection and professional standing will enable him to find another pastorate should be boycott foil. In his first speech to the group as its president, Kane declared, "We have no alternative but to protest. For many years we have shown an amazing patience. We have sometimes given our white brothers the feelings that we liked the way we were being treated, but tonight to be we come here tonight to be saved from that patience that makes us patient with anything less than freedom and justice." These words introduced to the country a fresh voice, a skillful rhetoric, an inspiring personality, and in time a dynamic new doctrine of civil struggle. Although King's home was dynamited and his family's safety threatened, he continued to lead the boycott until 1 year and a few weeks later the city's buses were desegregated. Thanks.